We should be good.
All righty. Let's get started in three, two. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 237, recorded on July 3rd, 2019, on the cusp of America Day. On tonight's episode, we discuss a little bit of new Nintendo Switch releases coming down the pike and a brand new event coming for Tetris 99. That's right, the fifth Maximus Cup is coming up, and our time with Super Mario Maker 2. That's about it. Well, we'll throw some other stuff in there. Oh, and we'll throw Tim off in there too for being on the show with us tonight. Jesse, cue that music. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Marty here, and you're listening to episode 237 of Nintendo Dads. We're glad you're here, and with me and with us tonight are two of the finest gentlemen in the galaxy. They're not the guardians of the galaxy. They're the guardians of Missouri and wherever Tim lives. Minnesota. Did I get that right?
Michigan. Close
Michigan.
enough.
It's one of those M states up north.
One of them states.
You make cheese and beer. It's everybody does that up there. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Speaking of beer, did you know if you leave Bud Light out tonight and a weapon, a gun, that Kid Rock will leave fireworks under your tree for New Year's?
Not New Year's, Claus is coming. He'll leave you fireworks and barbecue.
Yes. Just heard that joke tonight.
This show is already starting off good. I feel good about this episode. Jesse Waldak, how you doing, man?
That makes one of us? I don't know about this show yet. Yeah, it's been a long day. Normally I'd be excited for the long holiday, but I'm still working. So I can use my holiday later. So, but because everyone else at work will be taking the holiday off, I'll have time to actually get work done instead of just be on the phone all day like I normally do.
Isn't that fun? Yeah. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that it works that way for. Yeah. Also joining us tonight in lieu of Justin Massett and Gary Gray, Tim Off, community manager of the Nintendo Dads Everything. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be on here and happy to be on again with you, Marty. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be back. Look, can we just go ahead and get this under our belt to start with? We're all in the States, so can we just go ahead and, this is the America arm of Nintendo Dads. I mean, we've got the Euro boys. We're the America boys, right?
Yes. Yep. Well, remember we're good old boys with Uncle Jesse.
Are you gonna eat barbecue tomorrow?
Most definitely.
I'm gonna eat barbecue. In fact, can I tell you something? I never win anything. And you know how people post those Facebook things like, share, and comment, and you could be entered to win. Yeah. Finally, I won one of those today.
Well, congratulations.
I won a brisket family pack.
Nice.
Yes.
I know where I'll be on the 4th.
I love. And so I'm going to go, and it's sweet meat deliciousness. Jesse, you're going to eat barbecue tomorrow, right?
Most likely. I don't know what's going on tomorrow. We have no family plans.
Well, we called Kid Rock and asked him if he would be on the show tonight, and he said that he had a prior engagement.
He's too busy delivering 4th of July goodness to everybody.
That's right. So if you hear the pitter-patter of drunken reindeer on your roof tonight, just know if you left out your flag and your AR-15 and your beer, then Kid Rock is there to leave you treats. Just don't get up, because if you startle him, he'll probably kill you in your sleep. Speaking of being killed in our sleep, there's not a whole lot of news this week, but we're going to run through some things with you, and we're also going to talk about our time with Super Mario Maker 2, which is probably the biggest release of the year for Nintendo Switch so far, and Jesse and I have got to spend some time with it. Tim bought it, but hasn't played it yet. Shame. But let's just dive right into the news, shall we? Of course, our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. If you're a patron of the show, then you help make the world go round for us, and we are super, super thankful for you. You can hop on over there, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to our exclusive Discord chat where you can chat with dads and other fans about everything going on. You can find right now, you can find exclusive Mario Maker 2 levels that are only available in our Discord. Those codes are in there. We have a community and monthly mayhems going on and all kinds of other stuff. And allow me just for a minute here to plug monthly mayhem that's going on right now. Mario Maker 2 is the game of the month, and you can find the details over there and at our YouTube channel. There is a video over there for monthly mayhem wrapping up Downwell, which was the game of the month for June, and now setting our sights on Mario Maker for the next month or so. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tim, did you play in the Downwell monthly mayhem?
I gave it a go at the beginning of it, and then I was done.
So that game didn't sit very well with you?
I like it. I liked it, but it's Yep, I like it.
It's a great game. Yeah. But I just don't know how people got all those combos and scores and that they did. No, it's crazy. I love to compete. I love the competition part of it, but I'm never gonna submit my score to be considered for prizes because I'm on the show. That would kind of be biased. But anyway.
Well, I think they still want us. I think Drew and Zablon wants us to submit, just knowing that.
I mean, that's why I submitted my score for Cuphead.
Bragging rights.
And I submitted my point for Downwell.
You're 1 point.
Yes.
Just don't consider me for prizes. That's what I told him. I was like, don't even draw my name. Don't even put it in there.
Yeah. Well, have you seen their video to see how they draw a name?
I have not got to.
They
watch that.
You have a random number generator while they record. Pick a number, and then everyone has a number range based on their score. So if whatever number is picked, that person wins. Happened to be the first number was LeBlanc, and which he won last month. So he says, I already told Drew that if my name came up, I'm not going to take it, and I'll roll it again. And he rolled it again and gave it to Brian.
Well, there you go. And if it ended up on him multiple rolls, then we probably need to have a conversation.
So I had a 1 in 610 chance of getting drawn.
Hey.
Because I had 1 point.
That is Jesse. Those are better odds. I mean, think about all the odds that out there. If you had a 1 in 610 chance of a bottle rocket flying back and blowing up in your face.
I'd rather have those odds playing Powerball or something like that.
Right. Yeah. So I agree. 1 in 610, not that bad. But the point is, guys, you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and jump in. And there's other sweet perks you can get as well, and more coming down the pike as well that we'll be revealing in the next few months. And so you want to be signed up. You want to be ready to go over there at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads.
I think for this month I'm up to maybe 112 points already.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've 100%ed the castle, you got 100 points. So
okay. Well, there you go. So let's talk about some news this week. Again, not a lot of news going on, but let's talk about probably the biggest news story over the last couple weeks has been the very tepid reception to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, especially on the Switch due to its performance. The game is having issues across all platforms, so we're not picking on the Switch when we do this, but it is safe to say, and I know this has probably already been discussed, but the Switch version was subpar and is subpar right now when it comes to quality of port and quality of life, just in general. Tim, you backed Bloodstained, and you told me you haven't even opened your game yet, but you did get an interesting email tonight that came in about 30 minutes before we began to record. So why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. Yep. As a backer, one, yes, I didn't open it yet as I'm waiting for all this commotion to get fixed. But essentially, I got an email this evening that, with an update on this Switch fix for this game. So from the Kickstarter email sent this evening, uh, the title of it was Nintendo Switch status fix being tested. The fix is currently in test. The submission date we were working toward has been delayed due to a graphical bug that has reemerged. We anticipate testing will be completed by next week, which would mean an ETA and public release during the week of July 15th, 2019. The Switch specific improvements are HD rumble issues in certain areas of the game have been fixed, enabled traditional Chinese language option, fixed instances where the game would crash while transitioning between rooms, and work has been done
Those
on
are
the
fun
technical. Yeah, has been done on the technical non-visible side of things to improve input delay, stability, and various optimizations. The teams are continuing to work on these items and will have future updates and plans to share soon, as well as other information such as DLC that they're releasing,
Yeah.
which is on schedule, it seems like.
And so, I mean, I don't know where I land on this because, like, on one hand, they're an indie developer. I want to give them a little bit of slack, right? I mean, they obviously did not have a full, huge development house on this. But on the other hand, I don't want to cut them slack because this game was 4 years in the making. They pulled in another group to help with development, and they had plenty of time. And you know, Iga's track record is great as far as Castlevania, and I don't want to slam that or anything, but like my question is like, when do you call a spade, and just say, okay, guys, you screwed it up, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I've seen a lot of back and forth on the game. I've seen a lot of criticism, but I've also seen a lot of people who are kind of like rushing to defend it and being like, but it's going to get better. It's going to get, but how do we know it's going to get better? Like, really?
Don't. Yeah.
Exactly. And so color me skeptical. I want to buy this game. I want to like this game. I do love the fact that, throughout development and everything, they made it look a ton better and it looks awesome. But I've also bought games before that looked awesome, and I wish that I could take back as soon as I played them. And so I know this is what we might call a budget title or whatever, with it being an indie game, but still, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who are disappointed in the release, or after from the wait, that they had to get what they got. And that's not just Nintendo Switch. That's multiple systems, people who are saying, what the crap? What happened here?
The Switch has its own issues, separate from what the other issues are on the other systems.
Right.
But overall, I just want stability, and then worry about a graphical powerhouse. If I wanted the graphic stuff, I would have backed it for the PS4.
Right.
So, because I already knew that, it's coming for the Switch, that it wasn't going to compete in that regard. But I just want it to be playable and not have it crash on me or I lose any saves. Because from what I understand is it is a fun game. It is a Castlevania type game that if you've been dying to play that, especially since your DS days, that it's a good game to play. Just the stability issues.
But and what's crazy to me about this is that they're having this problem with the Switch, and this was a game that was supposed to be on the Wii U.
Oh.
Imagine that. Like, imagine that kind of.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, this game transitioned over and was able to do so because development was so long. But if they're having these problems with the Switch, what kind of problem would they have with the Wii U?
What game was it before that they got backed, or maybe it's still in development? But they got backed, and it wasn't originally set to be for the Switch, but they had so many people want it for the Switch that they decided to, instead of develop for it for the other systems first, they decided to develop for the Switch first and then make it playable on the other machines
Mm.
afterwards. I think it's a Zelda-like game. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't back it. I was on the fence about it. But
Yeah, and now
know.
that you say it, like if you hadn't have said anything about it, I'd have been able to pick the name up immediately. You know what I found, and I do a lot of Kickstarter, right? Like I do a lot of board games on Kickstarter. I mean, there's stuff that I backed, um, a year ago, or something. Like I've waited up to 2 years for a board game on Kickstarter, and the most notorious one being the Mega Man board game, which ended up not even really being that much fun, which was disappointing. The minis are great, but not the rest of the game. But you know
Was
what I
that?
found?
Sorry to interrupt, but I think it was Hazelnut Bastille.
Hazelnut, but still, you're right. They
Okay.
decided to develop for the Switch because that's where the majority of their backing came from.
Yep.
Yep, Justin's got that one backed, I believe, as well. But here's the thing, like with a board game, like there's not a whole lot of glitching or bugs that can go on with cardboard and plastic, right? There,
Right.
and
Nope,
Right.
not.
so what I found is that my experience with board games on Kickstarter has been 100% more positive than my time with video games on Kickstarter. As far as I know, the only game that has ever gone to Kickstarter and like done extremely well, like delivered above and beyond, was Shovel Knight.
Right.
I mean, I may be wrong,
That's probably
but
why other people keep backing these other things because
yeah.
you got
So
the
like,
one.
because I've backed Mighty Number Nine, turd. I've backed, and I've watched people back Bloodstained, and now it's a turd until they do something to it, and then I'm still waiting on Chicken Wiggle Workshop.
Yeah, I am too. I backed that one. I'm still looking forward to it. So, although
You guys realize
it's
you do realize at this point it's been a year since we backed it.
yes, and I do realize that they had their window of opportunity to get it out there before Mario Maker, but it is what it is, and
It is.
hopefully maybe there'll be enough gap now to where there'll be some difference to get some other people to buy it. Who knows? But
Well, I mean,
I backed that one, and I backed this one, Knights and Bikes.
ooh, I
That
don't. Yeah, I
I'm
haven't heard of that one.
that Gary said he got to play, and he said it actually looks like it'll be turn out to be a good game. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm still waiting for another company to prove me wrong, another dev to prove me wrong as far as Shovel Knight, because like, or as far as Kickstarter, because like Shovel Knight so far has been the only one that has kind of made me eat my words, and so I would love to have that opportunity. I would love for there to be more Kickstarter games, but I think that like as far as like it's one. And I know it's almost like I'm comparing apples and oranges, but they're both games. Like, you can, it's a whole lot easier, I think, for a small team to develop a board game, and produce it and have it out in 9 months or a year than it is for a small team to produce a video game
Well,
that is,
usually the board games already have a designed and play tested a little bit with prototypes,
yeah, they do.
and they just need the money to make the finalized construction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where a
and
game
that,
has got to be written from the ground up.
what happens a lot with the board games is where they get bogged down in stretch goals. They add
Yeah.
way too many stretch goals, and then they get done with the campaign, and it's like, oh crap. What? How are we going to do
Because
all
now
this?
it's no
How are we
longer
gonna-
the game that they originally play tested and was ready.
Well, in a way, you're exactly right. And so, but what you're saying too before is exactly right too. I mean, you've got a video game, you've got to code that. It's not just what I mean, both of them, we're presenting a concept. We want you to back the concept. We want you to invest in the concept. But on the other hand, a video game is we've got to build this from the ground up for 3 systems now.
Kind of another
In a lot of
Kickstarter
cases.
disaster, not Nintendo related, but have you ever heard what's going on with Shenmue 3?
Oh no.
Okay, so when it was originally put on Kickstarter, they said that they were going to have PC via Steam codes. But then Epic comes along and says, we are going to be the exclusive distributor for PC. And people are upset. And actually, and the developers
I did
themselves
read about that.
wouldn't issue refunds for those who really were upset about it and didn't want anything to do with it. But Epic themselves are stepping up and saying, if you want out, we'll pay you. That's fine.
Wow. Well, good for them. And
So
and look,
not only
but,
did Epic pay the
but
money to get the
again,
exclusive rights, they're
all
paying money to refund people who are upset. So
right, and all that does is make Epic look good and give them fantastic publicity, right?
yeah,
I mean, all they're going to do is open up the Scrooge McDuck Fortnite vault and pay them out of that. So, um, but you know what's funny about that
they'll
is
kick off season 10 to help fund it.
you know what that made me think of when you were talking about that is all those poor people who are still waiting for Mighty Number 9 on 3DS.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
never gonna happen.
I'm starting to notice a bit of a common denominator here, or a trend here. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it seems like the games that aren't doing so well or didn't do so well were all started by people who have worked on other games before, really big games, and wanted to recapture those games, or they have some sort of pedigree, so they figured, oh, well, I've got this experience, so I'm going to go on Kickstarter. I have this idea for a game that these development studios aren't backing, or these publishers aren't backing. But
So are we waiting for Kojima to do this when he's done with his dumpster fire?
That seems to be a trend, unless I'm not thinking of anything else. Because I mean, like you said, there was Yacht Club who did their game, and that turned out well. Although we're still waiting on their last piece, right?
Yep.
But then when you look at Mighty Number 9, that was done by people who did Mega Man games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Inafune. Yeah.
Right. And then the Bloodstained, is kind of but that was done by the guy who did all the Castlevania games, or most of them. And then what was the other one you just mentioned? But it just seems like there's a trend there that we're getting disappointed by the people we would expect not to be disappointed by.
Right.
Right.
I think it's the issue of we thought you knew better, right?
Right.
Or we believed that we could know that we would have this experience, like we would recapture the glory days of Mega Man and Castlevania.
Even Ukuleles kind of falls in that department too.
Right. I will agree with that because I enjoyed Ukulele up to a point, and then it quickly soured.
Yeah, I didn't even enjoy it that much. It was like so faithful to what N64 collectathon games were. That wasn't my type of game.
So does that mean we would have been more forgiving if it was somebody else who were doing it? If, because we put it up on such a high pedestal, thinking that we expect so much from those people.
Yeah, Tim, that's a good point, because I mean, I think that, like, as far as I go, like for Mighty Number 9, part of my rage, I guess, about that game is that it's not the spiritual successor to Mega Man. Whereas, I mean, like Mega Man 11 finally getting announced and coming out took the pain of that away a little bit. But now with Mighty Number 9, another thing too is that we were promised an entirely different game than what we got. I mean, if you go back and you look at the early concepts of Mighty Number 9 when it was discovered, it was steal any enemy's powers, and Number 9, or whatever, Beck would transform, like he would grow treads, or he would get claws, or he would have something happen to him. The end result game was just basically Mega Man speed run. And that just did not...
A speed run.
It's not what it was supposed to be.
Which is not compatible.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'm not saying that Bloodstained is too much of a deviant from what it was intended to be or what people expected to be. I think they got exactly what they wanted, but I think that as far as concept, but I think that at some point
needed a few extra months for more polish before they pushed it out.
Yeah, and the thing is that they had those extra months, and I feel like they had plenty of time. And I don't know. 4 years is a long time to wait for something that you have
Yeah.
given money in
Especially if
good
you've
faith
already
for.
delayed the game a few times, no
Yeah,
one should get too upset if you say, "Sorry, we need an extra 2 months to clean things up." Yeah,
that's
you've already
true.
waited 2 years, so what's the next 2 months?
What's another couple of months, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah,
how some of us would think, but then there's always two sides of it, right? There's always people who are complaining, oh, why did I back this, or it's taking too long. And then there's those people that like us who would say, okay, get it right, and then I'm fine. I'm fine with the extra 2 months. But there's always a group of people who are always complaining about it taking so long, too. So
True.
yeah, and I will admit I fall into both camps at times. So it's just depends on what day I it is. I mean, I think it's okay to and hear what we're saying here. I think it's okay to be frustrated. I think it's okay to be frustrated that you have exchanged money and it's just been sitting there and you've been waiting for your quote reward for that money for a long time. It's okay to be frustrated. It is another thing though about how we channel that frustration, right? Which is what I think you're talking about. You know, yeah, I'm frustrated, but if I wait 2 more months and I get a game and it's good, great. Or, man, I'm frustrated. I want a refund right now,
yeah,
and I'm not going to take no for an answer, and I'm going to smear you across social media. Um,
yeah,
I,
it comes with the territory. I mean, I think everybody, I don't think everybody does, but everybody should know going into a Kickstarter, you're not going to get it probably at the time they say because there's usually
I would
something as far
almost,
as games
I would
go.
almost rather video game Kickstarters learn a lesson from all of this. Of like, I know you have to set a delivery date, or buy whatever. I would rather them just like make it way far out and then deliver early. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
make it
Because then
like
you look like a god.
if I'm starting a Kickstarter campaign for a video game today and it can be finished in 2020, I'm not going to say it's going to be finished in 2020 at this point. I'm going to say, hey, expect it Q2 2021.
2022.
And then I'll come back and I'll come back when it's near develop when we're near done and say, hey, backers, we have a wonderful surprise for you. And that wonderful surprise is we're going to release early. And then
Of
guess
course,
what? You're gonna get news articles about you. Kickstarter game releases early
yeah,
for
but
once.
it better be crystal clear on polish. Otherwise, people are going to rip you over the coals saying, you could have spent another 2 or 3 months on this, and you
Oh,
had,
sure,
and
sure.
you even thought it would.
I think like indie devs on Kickstarter would do good to watch what Nintendo's doing with Luigi's Mansion 3 right now, right?
Yeah, and
Because
Animal
look at what
Crossing.
they're doing. Like this week, we saw the box art for for Luigi's Mansion, which is something that you normally don't even see until the release date has been announced for months, right? So we're seeing box art. We've seen gameplay from the game. We know it's been localized. We know it's coming. They're still saying 2019, but they're not giving the release date. So, like, the good part about that is you're seeing all the polish and the progression that's going into the product, right?
Right.
But you don't have this impossible standard of a release date
Yeah,
to
I'm
to
sure
try
they
and
have
meet.
one in the back of their head, but even
Sure,
this tells me they aren't confident in it, and that's fine.
I'm hoping that release date is the last week of October. Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that I think a week earlier would be a better week. That way, it gives people time to actually get into the game versus just start it and
Yeah, that's true.
Halloween be
That's
over,
true.
but while you're still just getting into it.
Well, speaking of release dates, let's move on from this topic and talk about some new games that were announced this week for the Switch and things that you need to be mindful of coming down the pike. And we have no less than one, two, three, four, five games that we have caught our eye this week that we think you need to be looking out for. The first one of these is going to be released on November 8th of this year, 2019. It is Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition. Now, this is a remaster.
Nintendo's taking lessons from naming lessons from Square Enix again.
Yeah. This is a remaster of a game, correct?
Yes, this was original. This was what was originally dubbed Lady Layton on the
Ah,
3DS, and
and
then
iOS devices and Android, right?
yes, that happened later. But no,
Okay.
it didn't. It actually released in iOS or before 3DS here in North America,
That's right.
and I decided to wait and just get the 3DS version. So this, and then I never did finish it. So yeah, this is a Switch port. So I think if I remember right from the press release, it has all the base content, all the DLC, plus like there's a few additional puzzles and like costumes to
Yeah.
swap
And
into.
I would assume making use of the touchscreen and everything as well
I'd imagine
for the
so
Switch.
because I don't it
Okay.
shouldn't be much different than the iOS version.
Gotcha. So that's out on November 8th. So look out for that if you're a fan of the Layton games or puzzle games in general. Also, this week, the first trailer for the Cuphead DLC called The Delicious Last Course was revealed, but it was also announced that this DLC has now been delayed until 2020, which means it will have been 2 years from the announcement of downloadable content to release for this game.
I like
But
the
if you're a fan of
initials of the title.
the Delicious Last Course, the DLC, I love it. Um, the the wait for the DLC is nothing if you waited for the initial release of the game because it took forever and a day as well to finally come out. And we know, I mean, it's a masterpiece. I love Cuphead. So this is the one that you're going to be able to play Miss Chalice. It adds a fourth island, Inkwell Island Part 4. And so that's coming out 2020. We don't have a solid date on it or price or anything yet. Just know that it's coming. Also announced coming out September 5th, 2019. I'm super hype about this one. River City Girls is coming from Way Forward, which is a spiritual sequel slash successor to River City Ransom. It's even going to include some of the characters and locations from the original game. And it stars two girls on a quest to beat up people to find their boyfriends.
Because
I
what
just
else
I
would you
just saw
do?
that. I just saw that teaser trailer or trailer, whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it,
the
and I thought that
trailer
was pretty
makes it
fun.
look really good.
Yeah, that looks like a lot of
16-bit
fun.
beat 'em up. If you're jonesing for something like that, then this is coming. It's going to be here soon, September 5th. Man, September is going to be an absolutely bonkers month for the Switch.
All hands on deck.
And the thing is that if you could argue that Astral Chain is pretty much a September release as well, with it being August 30th.
Right.
Right.
And so
It's the one
it's
that's opening the door for all the others to come in.
it's dragging them up with the chain.
Yes.
Another game that we want you to kind of be looking at. This comes out next week. Is on July 10th. Soul Seraph looks to be a spiritual successor to ActRaiser, which this game has definitely piqued my attention with that. It features 2D platforming sections and action sections and a top-down strategy mode as well, guys. I still go back and play ActRaiser on my SNES.
Yeah,
Such a fun game.
I think I did a playthrough of the game last year and streamed it on my channel. I can never beat the final level because it just
No.
basically is a boss rush, and you have like no way to fill your energy, so it's either you can do it or you can't. But it's the God mode stuff that I enjoy in that game most.
Oh yeah. The
Now I've
moving
never.
around and developing your city and figuring out the how to make it rain and do things. I loved that game.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I actually heard about it just because of this game coming out, and it does sound interesting, especially because of the city building stuff.
You need to go back and play it just to like get a feel for it before this game if it piques your interest. But understand, this is like this is Square Enix, or actually Enix at the time before they were taken over by Square, dipping their toe into something besides Dragon Warrior, and so it's pretty clunky. The strategy part of it is not, but the action part of it is extremely clunky, and it's fun, and it's very well done graphically and sound, sonically, but it's just
Is it
the controls are awful.
is it Sega doing this one? Publishing this one?
Sega's publishing.
Okay.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Sega coming out swinging with this and
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon. I'm excited about both
Yes.
of these. Last game that we want to kind of pique your attention here or let you know about is, if you remember a few weeks ago or a month ago, Ghostbusters, the video game remastered, was announced, and it was also announced that it would be actually coming to the Switch as well. We now know that it's going to be $29.99, and it's going to be a GameStop exclusive, which, why? Right? I mean, like, I don't know.
I'm actually fine with this to a certain extent. To what is games? Because my thought is if GameStop, to try to do better business wise, is to get into these limited edition type games, is not only to do it themselves but also bring in your limited run or your other type of games like that and do exclusives with them to sell their physicals at their stores to possibly drive people to come in, especially those of us who want to buy physical. But one caveat for me, I don't know about anybody else, is that physical has to have something special about it. I don't want to just go in and buy, a case in a game. I think there should be more to it. Like you've got like with Cave Story or any of those other type of games where you got a little keychain or a little book or, little extras that go with it to make it special, to make me want to go and buy it physical rather than just make it easy and download it,
Well, would this game even be made available digitally if it's a GameStop exclusive? We don't know that yet.
Yeah. Well, wasn't what's the ink one that they did? Bendy. Wasn't that was a GameStop exclusive, but is that one you can
Was it?
download? Yes. It was one that because I had my son wanted to buy it and I had to go
Believe
find
that
it.
is downloadable.
It is downloadable. You Bendy? Because my
Yes.
son wanted it, and I refused to let him buy it after watching some videos of it. I mean,
It gets dark.
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Like, it looks like something that, like in the beginning, it kind of draws you in, and then it's creepy as all get out.
It does get creepy. Yep.
And I just
But
didn't think it was good for him to be playing. So
Yeah, I'd say he's
makes sense.
a little on the young side. I agree with you there.
Uh,
At
my
13 or 14 might be a little bit different.
Well, my son is actually 11, but I let him play it because he loves playing Five Nights at Freddy. So I figured that.
yeah, and like from what I heard and from what I saw, just from YouTube reviews and everything, this was kind of like on another level
Okay.
from
Yeah.
from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, but Bendy is
Gotcha.
rated T, and I'd say it's a hard T.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sometimes like Smash Brothers I think is also T, or maybe at least 10 plus, but that's a really soft T. But this is definitely not a soft T.
Interesting. I haven't seen him play it much though, but that's another reason why I wanted to get it physical too. So that way it wasn't downloaded to his
Yeah,
Switch.
Smash is E10 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you can redeem Nintendo vouchers on the website. I did not know that.
Wow.
I saw a link looking it up.
Just be careful because somebody posted on the MVC
Forums.
podcast forum a couple of days ago that vouchers are non-refundable because he went to the bathroom and his son redeemed a voucher on the eShop for Mario Party.
Yeah, and he has his eShop password locked, so you can't make a purchase without the password, but the vouchers are redeemable without the password.
Yep, that's
How
not
convenient.
a smart. That needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And I would say that sheds some light on a problem there, and Nintendo needs to fix that. Guys, that's all our news for this week. seriously, it's a slow news week. What with E3 having been a couple weeks ago, and everybody's just pretty much just waiting for the other shoe to drop with all the releases and playing Mario Maker. And so, no rumors, no let's discuss this week. Let's move right into our events. All right, guys, we'll breeze through this pretty quickly. Pokemon Go events. We want to issue a correction to last week. Jumpstart Research. Jesse had posted and talked about last week that he had guessed that this was the Jirachi events or event that was coming. And instead, the rewards for doing this event include Dratini with enough candy to evolve into a Dragonite, all Gen 4 starters, a Shiny Eevee, a Lapras, 6,000 or 60,000 Stardust, which is double if star pieces are in effect when redeemed, and 405,000 XP, which also doubles if lucky eggs are in effect when redeemed. The Jirachi event is still to come at a future date.
Yeah, and I just redeemed 200,000 XP, thinking I had an egg running to where I should have gotten 400,000, but I didn't have the egg running, so I was upset.
Oh man, that is yeah. Be sure you got that stuff going if you want to double it. Also announced this week, Tetris 99 is hosting the 5th Maximus Cup in conjunction with the final Splatfest, which means that a new theme is imminent for Tetris 99. If you score 100 points during this event, which runs from July 12th through the July the 15th, you will earn yourself a brand new shiny Splatoon 2 theme for Tetris 99, which is actually really interesting if you think about it, because the Game Boy theme has shown us just how far into this Nintendo will get with a theme, including, original sounds from the Game Boy, the background art from the box, and actually even just the Japanese box, from what I understand, because the castle, we had a completely different design on the sticker for Tetris here in America, and original music, and I'm really interested to see what they do with the Splatoon 2 theme. And music being a big part of Splatoon and its culture, I'm wondering if it'll have like multiple tracks and all kinds of stuff. I'm very interested to see what this is going to be. I'm definitely playing this Maximus Cup free theme. I mean, and for those of you who maybe don't play, it's pretty easy to earn that 100 points, right?
I think I got the 100 points in 45 minutes at most.
I mean, just sit down and bang out a few games of Tetris 99. Now, understand, Maximus Cup tends to bring out the better players.
Yeah. So
at
even
least
if
from what I've seen.
get into like 60th, 70th place, you'll still get 4 or 5 points.
It'll happen.
It'll take a bit of grinding at that rate, but it can still happen.
And once the theme is unlocked, it's unlocked permanently. You can swap back and forth. You're not going to lose it. However, just like with the Game Boy theme, if you don't get it this weekend, there's no guarantee of when that's coming back around again. We personally feel like it will be paid DLC at some point,
right?
As well as possibly some paid for themes that they don't attach to Maximus Cup. But as of right now, this is the only way to get this. And when you play in the Maximus Cup for that weekend, every match that you play will be in the Splatoon 2 theme, just like it was for the old Game Boy theme when that came out. I guess it was like 3 or 4 months ago, right?
For the Game Boy theme?
Yeah.
Or when? Yeah, maybe
2 or 3 months ago. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what themes come down the pike with this. Also, let me make a mention here that this month, the month of July, is the last chance or the last DLC character that is being added to Mario Tennis Aces. This month, if you play in any online tournament, even if it's just a single solitary match, you will unlock Dry Bowser, who is the final character to be added to the game. And if you're still playing Mario Tennis Aces, he looks pretty dang impressive. So go get Dry Bowser while you're waiting for Tetris 99 and your Pokemon Go eggs to hatch to get all that experience and stuff. Let's move on and let's talk about what we've been playing, shall we? right, Tim, you're up. Tell us what you've been playing.
All right. So, unlike a lot of you guys, I know you all have been playing Super Mario Maker 2. I'm going to be attacking that this weekend because I've got an extended weekend for the 4th of July. But since the last show, I finished Silence and I submitted a review on that. It's on YouTube, as well as played more of my friend Pedro, which was, my first impressions of that. And that was a double feature that I had submitted and have on YouTube for the Nintendo Dads. Both games, I finished Silence. It's a point and click game. And you go through the story of a brother and his sister, who are trying to save themselves from a bomb attack to their city, and not knowing quite what happens. Before things kind of black out, the brother is telling the sister a story that she's familiar about to try to keep her calm, and it's a story about silence, this fictional town, if you will, or this fictional area within the game that he's trying to, again, tell a story about and tell her about to keep her calm. Then things black out because of a huge bombing that happened, that even in their shelter that they're in, something happens. And it goes into the story to where they're in this fictional city, I'll just call it, or fictional world. And it just goes into that. And the story kept me intrigued long enough to keep me all going throughout the whole thing and playing all the way through and wanting to finish it and do a review rather than just a let's play. So if you're into a point and click type game and you enjoy a good story, for me it was a good game to play when it was time to go to bed. Just lay there instead of reading a book. I was, going along here, because it's almost like a choose your own adventure in points where you can pick certain things that happen in the game. Certain dialogue, kind of like a Telltale game, where you pick certain dialogue and certain reactions from the NPCs will happen. And you can also make choices in the game that will makes your story go one way or another. Now, I had it all end in the same point, I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but it seemed like the story could go in different directions depending on what you picked throughout the game. So, but I only played through it once. I was able to get to the end and play the ending twice, so I could see two different endings. So that was interesting as well to see that. Will I go back in and play it again? Probably if I give it a break. Maybe I'll go in and see if some of the choices that I made, I'll make differently and see if something happens. But overall, I think it was pretty good, and especially, like I said, a good going to bed, laying in bed with your Switch type thing and finishing the story. Now, as far as my friend Pedro, that's not necessarily a bed game because it's so much action that you're having to do to keep you busy. I have done that, though.
Uh-oh.
Playing while going to like a break at work or something like that. So, or actually what I've done too is gone for walks and tried to play some games while I'm going for a walk too. Some games are a little bit easier to do that with than others, but I'm still toying around with that one. But I'm still playing that one. I didn't finish the game, but it's a lot of fun. And like I said last week, it reminds me of that. The best way I could describe it is it reminds me of that scene in the first Matrix movie towards the end where Trinity and Neo go into that building in the lobby and they're taking out all the security guards. That to me is my friend Pedro, and all the actions and the flipping and the shooting and the slow motion and all that kind of stuff. That's what that is for me. And I love it.
Nice.
But you would say that my friend Pedro is definitely an extremely violent game.
Yes, that is a great point. Yes, it's something that I haven't even played in front of my kids, even though they're 14 and 11. Maybe some people would be fine with that. It's just one of those things that I won't let my kids watch Deadpool, and there's some similarities there, even though you don't hear a lot of talking. The banana does a lot of the talking. So it's funny commentary there too. But yeah, it's very hyper stylized violence. And something I don't really play in front of my kids. So yeah, as opposed to
Checking
Silence,
on the rating
which
for that. It is rated T.
Silence is also rated T, and had some a little bit of language that I picked up on, like uh, damn or hell, type words. But um, that was about it. I don't think maybe an S word. I think I'm not 100% clear on that one, but yeah, that one was, depending on where you're at with your kids on that one, you may want to keep an eye out for that one. But I didn't play that one in front of my kids either. So, although I thought about having them help me with some choices. So if I do play it again, I may do that. Because there are some movies that we have watched that had those type of words that come up and stuff, and they know the rules about that. So
I just recently watched Endgame. I watched Endgame again last night, and was surprised at how many times words like that did come up for a movie of a rated PG-13. So I'm wondering, because it's a double-length movie, are they allowed to double the maximum words before it gets turned to an R? I don't know.
the censorship people are counting each one. Are they gonna hit the number?
Yeah, I don't know about the length, but I definitely noticed that too. There was a lot more language than previous Marvel movies. Even some of the, I guess, some people have probably seen Spider-Man: Far From Home now, but a there's definitely two versions of the trailer. I don't know if you've noticed that. The initial trailer that came out, there was
The
one.
Spider-Man one.
Yeah, there was one where he called Peter Parker. There was a kid who called Peter Parker
yeah, that's Flash.
a name, and then that name was changed in
I did
other
see that.
viewings, like the actual commercial that showed like on ABC and CBS and Disney Channel and stuff. He calls him something completely different. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I did notice that.
They know that's
and
whatever.
I saw Spider-Man Monday night. It was good.
We're going to see it Friday night. I'm kind of excited. We're going to see it.
Going tomorrow morning.
Mid-credit and post-credit scenes, don't miss them.
Of course.
Well, I mean, who gets up during a Marvel? Like I watch Marvel movies and I'm like, why are you standing up? Come on.
Right.
I don't get up at any movie anymore because you never know now.
The Endgame movie I saw last night, the whole point of it is because there was extra content at the end. There was a deleted scene and kind of a Stan Lee montage thing. And people were leaving during the credits for that. I'm like, this is why we're even here. Why are you leaving now?
This is why it's back in theaters. Oh, people. Anyway, Jesse, let's me and you talk for just a few minutes about Super Mario Maker. Actually, let's talk for more than a few minutes about Super Mario Maker.
I'm gonna fire it up right now while you guys are talking about it.
Come on, it's time. Mario Maker released last Friday, and it has so far. I love the fact that almost everyone who had something negative to say about Super Mario Maker has since gone and bought it, and now has nothing but positives to say about Super Mario Maker 2.
Well, I wouldn't say
like,
that.
I mean, most people is what I'm saying. And so far I have spent all of my time in the story mode as well as course world, just trying out what's already out there. It amazes me that there are already so many amazing courses during this. And I fully expect this game to have double the longevity that Super Mario Maker on the Wii U did, simply because the system is not dead or dying, and a lot of those levels are being ported over from the Wii U and redone and kind of updated with new systems and different things here. And again, lots more you could do, but let's talk about the story mode for just a minute. So this was shown off at before E3, and basically sees Mario having to rebuild Princess Peach's castle by taking on jobs, which are levels, after Undo Dog erases the castle. with a rocket block. Underdog is my new favorite Nintendo NPC because he's such a doofus. Um, and along the way, you meet a lot of these characters who were kind of peripheral characters in the first Mario Maker, like Yamamura and Coruscant, even, and some new ones too, like the creepy frog up in the clouds, the sound frog. And the levels that you play through, there's 90 levels in the single player, as well as tasks that the NPCs ask you to do, as well as Princess Peach once the castle is complete. I mean, that's not a spoiler, right? Because I mean, Mario saves Princess Peach in every Mario
Right.
game, even if he's Builder Mario. So Jesse, talk to us a little bit. Like, what are your first impressions so far? I know you and I said early on before the show, I think that neither of us has actually gotten into the building part of it yet. But let's talk about your time with it single player. What do you think?
I enjoyed the single player mode. I there's one job left I haven't solved, and this is like the your normal last level of any Mario game is just damn hard. So that's what this one is. It's like a remix of the original Mario Brothers 1-1, and then just stupid. I haven't decided if it's stupid in a good way or if it's just stupid. I did see it was the furthest I got into it. There was this one jump that just seems impossible. It was like perfectly timed on springs. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. But yeah, the bird NPC is kind of he hides around, and I didn't even know about him. And I thought I was done at 116 jobs. So then I find out from some people on Twitter that no, there's 120 total. You're missing 3 from the NPC in the final level. And, but you know, for the single player campaign, I it I thought it did a good job of showing what you can do with it, both the new pieces and the old pieces in new ways.
Yeah,
The on-off
definitely.
blocks are a big benefit.
I thought the good thing about it is that it wasn't just straightforward platforming levels the whole time. It did a great job of showing off puzzles that you can make. It did a great job of showing off like flying with the Koopa Clown car for some of the like shooting levels like that got made in the old Mario Maker. I loved the idea of the Koopa Clown car. Um, or not the the Koopa Troopa vehicle, like the car. Like some racing levels and
Yeah,
things, which I feel like that was totally put in just because of the Mario Kart levels in the first one, right?
the BMW
Yeah,
Lego costume.
yeah. And so like I don't know, like the game has an incredible amount of polish that, of course, you're going to get with a Nintendo game. And then that's just the story mode. That's not even going into Course World where people have already uploaded thousands of levels. Most of them are garbage, but let's be honest, you're going to find some diamonds in the rough. I
Yeah,
love that
this
that
is
the
a master class of what not to do.
yeah the I do love the sorting system. It seems like they've put a little bit more thought into how things get sorted so you can find it better, especially the hot and popular um, categories are now divided. So, like, what's hot and what's popular are different. So, like, in the what's hot, there'll even be like new up and coming levels that you may have missed if you didn't scroll down on the popular ones. And now you can tag levels when you build them, and you can also tag levels when you play them to help people find them when they're sorted. And I love the feature too that you can download people's levels, not just put in the code and play them. You can actually download the levels to your device to play later. So like
I think the Wii U
everybody who
version can do
had
the same thing.
could it?
Yeah, because then you could download someone else's level and then open it up in editor and then look to see how it worked.
Well, this definitely helps so you can do it on the go now,
Yeah,
right?
that's why well, and that's my point, I guess, too, is that, like I can play this on the go. I don't have to play it
Right.
just at home. I don't have to carry my Wii U to my office to download levels and then carry it home. Um,
because that's
But
convenient.
yeah, because I mean, like everybody that had a course already built and codes put into the Mario Maker 2 sub channel in Discord, I downloaded all of them and I'm playing through those right now. So um, don't make sucky levels. No, I'm just like I don't know. Like most of them have been really good so far. Even Mole made a level that was a boss gauntlet that made me want to cuss. And another one too that was made in our Discord was Metal Kim made this Twitch jump level where it's like you got to run from the very beginning. Thwomp's chasing you, and you gotta run from it, and like spikes are everywhere, and you got. I finally beat it, but it was so good. Like I was so frustrated by the time I beat it. But anyway, shout out to our community for making Mario Maker levels. I'm toying around with the idea of like doing a weekly stream of Mario Maker levels, calling it Marty Maker Monday. I don't know.
I
We'll
like
figure it
that.
out.
I like
Well,
that.
if there's enough interest, I'll do it. I'll stream levels every Monday. Well, I'll
Nice.
find a way to do it
Yeah,
because I love playing people's levels and I love themed levels. I played one today that y'all I saved this level, so I'm gonna pass it along. Hopefully, it was called Super Castlevania Brothers, and like not only was it like a legit Castlevania, like I was like, this is really good. They had like it has its own music all the way throughout the level.
That's cool.
It's super good. And I think the same guy did a Super Metroid Brothers as well. And I didn't have time to play it, but I saved it, downloaded it to my Switch, so I'll play it later and let everybody know. I may start doing that too. Like I may start passing along my favorite courses. I'm actually hoping to actually get in and be able to start making one of my own this weekend, but with the fourth and everything coming up, I don't know. Well, like I feel a little intimidated
Yeah.
by it all. It's a little overwhelming.
yeah. 'Cause at least the Wii U version, it gave you the pieces a little bit at a time, so you
Yes.
didn't feel overwhelmed. Here
Yes.
is you may not have everything up front, but you probably have 95% of the pieces.
I honestly feel like I know people complained about that in the beginning, and like people complain about having to unlock characters in Smash and stuff. That's what makes the game fun. Like, let me unlock the pieces. Like, I know there was a hack to do it. Like, it's about like how many times you used all the things in that, but like, I'm fine with that. Let me make levels with the limited skill set and then move up, right? That's how you learn.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I'm hoping that Nintendo does add in some of the things, like because I mean it already feels like such an overflowing package of gaming goodness, right? But I'm hoping that they do add in some of the things from Mario Maker One that made it more charming. That are missing in this one, like Weird Mario is missing. The CRT filter is missing when you turn into Large Mario with the Mega Mushroom. I would love amiibo costumes to be back in, and I would really love for the Nintendo sponsored levels to be, like you'd get that notification, and there was the Nintendo release level that they had somebody do, and it would have a special costume or whatever. I really wish those would come around again.
Yeah. I've been
I agree.
playing. I've been trying to play the endless mode. I tried normal mode first because that is for points for the mayhem, uh, and I think my record is 6 before running out of lives. So I'm kind of lousy at that. So I switched to easy just to see, what else happens. And I have 100 lives banked right now. I've finished 100 levels, and there is like a global leaderboard, so it tells you once you get under a million, it'll tell you where you are in that leaderboard for each, depending on how far you are for each level. So I think even level 6 of normal got me into like the 80,000th, maybe 90,000. But I'm like in the easy at 99 levels completed. I'm at like 22,000th place. So there's
Hmm.
not a lot of people so far have played that far into it. So I'm hoping to try to get more into the normal. And I want to try to get more into the online, but it is hot garbage. Have you tried online yet?
Yeah, I watched your video. That's mm. My son and I have played local play around the house, and it's been pretty good so far. Just me and him.
I mentioned local play would be fine, but
I
yeah,
mean, it works, and it's been a lot of fun. Um, of course, it's just random courses that it brings up for you to play, but it's been all right. We've not tried any cooperative level making or anything like that, but I imagine we will pretty soon. If you guys remember during like the last time Mario Maker came out for the Wii U, we actually had a cross podcast challenge with
yeah.
Nintendo Dads and Reactor Radio, which I was on at the time. And wasn't it our level one?
I think so.
Yeah. And you guys had to record a bumper for the show. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I would love to see some other. I'm going to throw that out there. If some other podcasts want to lay down the gauntlet and want to do a level exchange, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll get maybe one of us design a level, and we'll throw that out there, and we'll see which one has the. Well, how we did it was the lower completion percentage was the one that won because it
Yeah.
was the harder level. So I still like that level. I was still proud of it when I went back because it was devious. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I went back a few months ago. It was when we did Extra Life back in November, and I played through some of my old Mario Maker levels, not even knowing that this was going to be announced this year. But Mario Maker 2 is definitely going to be part of my Extra Life stream this year. There's absolutely no way it couldn't be. So I think what we're saying is we've been enjoying our time with it, and that's without even diving into all of the building and course editing and all that. Online is pretty crappy right now, but hopefully they'll iron that out.
And I'm hoping that
And
they start filtering out some levels from the online randomness that doesn't make any sense. Because I've had multiple levels that would have on-off switches all over the place, and so if the person near the top of the stage is almost done, someone at the bottom of the stage hits an on-off switch, it can mess them up, and
yeah,
everyone's just fighting with each other. And seesaws do the same thing. When it's meant to be done with one person, so if there's four people on it, everything's a disaster. They need a way to flag those. So those if people are quitting the course,
it's called
basically
multiplayer
unplayable.
versus.
Yeah.
Flag it unplayable. Hey, I found one of those today, and I was going through endless mode on easy, like you were talking about, and the whole level was just hundreds of springs, both vertical and horizontal, and there was a one block gap that you had to get through to get to the goal.
Yeah, that gets a boo
And it was like that.
and
If
a
you
swipe.
like, if junk like that shows up in endless, it kind of ruins the vibe of it, you know.
Right.
But otherwise, this is a gem of a game, and I can't imagine not having it on your Switch, even if you're not going to build, right? Like it's limitless 2D Mario platforming levels at your fingertips. Why not? Right? Why wouldn't you? And people are coming up with some of the craziest stuff, and there are some really fun surprises that we will not spoil, although they are spoiled on the internet already. We will not spoil them on this show. Things you can unlock, including power-ups you can unlock that are really cool. Little throwbacks to other Mario games. And so that's all we'll say there. So Mario Maker 2 gets a couple of thumbs up from us. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already. Well, guys, that is pretty much our show for this week. A little bit shorter edition of Nintendo Dads this week. Again, as you may have heard, Justin is in the process of moving, And so we'll be off the show for an extended period of time, but he will return sometime in the month of August, and we'll be looking forward to that. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks for, if you're a listener and maybe you listen every week, or maybe you're listening to the episode for the first time, you've just found us. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of this community. We really appreciate it. And so as we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to Tim Off. Not only is he one of our Patreon producers, he's our community manager, and is always ready, willing, and able to be on the show anytime we ask him. Tim, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Happy to cover 00 Timbits, Justin 00 Timbits.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, guys, let's be honest. We know that's what Justin's really doing. He is an international man of mystery. Yes. He's spying. And, Wobble Puffet. Codename Wobble Puffet. That's his.
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?
There it is. He has to check in every now and then and say the magic words so they'll know he's okay. But Tim, again, thanks for being on the show. And we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, including Tim Off, Chris Mears, John Blanco, and Dave Ernsberger for their support at the Patreon producer level. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Thanks for all you do for the show. Also, we have a website now. The brand new http://nintendodads.org. You can head over to nintendodads.org and check out all of our YouTube videos, tweets, podcast episodes, links to all of our social media, as well as a link to our Redbubble where you can go and buy sweet Nintendo Dads merchandise. You can find all of the ways to contact us over there at nintendodads.com. Also, don't forget you can call in and leave.org. NintendoDads.org. I promise I will train myself to say that, Jesse. Thank you. NintendoDads.org. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff over there. And you can call in and leave a voicemail to be played on the show, 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. We would love to hear from you and play your voicemail on the show. And again, you can head over to our website, nintendodads.org, and buy some sweet Nintendo Dads merchandise as well. And let me just throw this out here. We haven't talked about this a lot, but guys, we have heard some requests for stickers. We have heard some requests for things like that. We are working on those, been tossing some ideas around, and hopefully we'll be getting some brand new stickers and other merch to you very, very soon. We want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for music used throughout the show, and for Adam Leonard and Carter Johnson for all the sweet artworks they have done for us and are going to do for us in the future. Again, guys, this has been episode 237 of Nintendo Dads. Thanks for hanging out with us. For me, for Jesse, for Tim, we love you. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.
Good night, kids. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Maple syrup mousses.